Mm. Hey y'all, what's up? Today
Hello.
we're going to have a conversation about what we love about being coaches. I love my job. I literally love my job so much. And
Yeah,
I
I can't
do
imagine doing
too.
anything else.
I know, right? Yeah. I was just talking the other day with a friend and I was like, when I was young, I had so many ideas for what I wanted to do and I felt like it changed every week. And I never could have imagined finding something that I love this much, that I was this well suited to. Like I didn't know this was an option when I was a kid. And when I came across coaching and started doing it, I was like, this is what I want to do. I get fascinated with people and getting to dive into all of their mental space and their inner world and getting to navigate that with them. It is so fun and fulfilling to me. It's like playing the best game ever. And it results in people having actual real transformations in their life and being more fulfilled and at peace and free. It's like the coolest thing that I can
Yeah.
think of.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we grow up thinking, I know that we are from the generation that like wants fulfilling work and that wants purposeful work. Like our generation doesn't want to just have a good job that pays the bills and that you just go to and you grind and you just do it because that's what you do. I know that we are definitely of the generation that wants work that's meaningful and that makes a difference. And this is just one of those career paths that affords that to you. But then it also affords this lifestyle. You get to create this lifestyle where you can kind of work from anywhere and create your own hours and create your own schedule. And if you have that like entrepreneurial spark in you, it's like you said, like the best, most fulfilling career ever. So B, what kind of coach are you?
Yeah. I'm a transformational coach. So I go to work on helping people live an inside out way of living where they are no longer at the effect of any circumstance in their life whatsoever, but have the capacity to be in alignment with who they're most committed to being in this lifetime, right? Like why their soul actually came to this planet, the ways of being that their soul came here to learn, how to actually show up as those ways, as the committed, loving, confident, compassionate, peaceful, free, generous, grateful beings that most of us want to be. How to actually allow those ways of being to come through in every single area of life that matters to them.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I can also just say from experience of having been one of your clients years ago, that it works. That your coaching delivers on its goal and its promise, which you can't say that about every coach. Like I think that unfortunately in the coaching industry, because in some degrees the barrier to entry is really low, that you can come across coaches who aren't really equipped to hold space for people or to actually get their clients results. And I can say with confidence that that's not the case with you.
And I know that that's not the case with you either, knowing many people that have worked with you and the massive transformation that you cause in their life. So what kind of coach are you, Kara?
Woo! I mean, I primarily coach women who want to find freedom in their relationships with food. So those that are struggling with disordered eating, dieting, body image, eating disorders, devoting a lot of their time and energy over to this rigid relationship with food and constantly worrying about what they look like and what size they are. And I help them find freedom and peace and ease in that area and stop fighting food and stop being obsessed with food and stop waiting to live their life until they're thinner or they've lost the last 5 pounds or whatever it is, wherever they are on the weight loss spectrum or desire for weight loss spectrum, and help them start fully living now. And most recently, the two of us have come together and started mentoring wannabe coaches and supporting them in helping other people heal their relationship with food and their body, since we both struggled with eating disorders. And that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to get to mentor other women into and usher other women into this career.
Yeah, how fun is it? We haven't actually talked about this one-on-one, like how fun it is to be getting these screenshots from the women that were in our Embodied Rebel Academy, who we trained to be coaches, and they're sending us screenshots from their clients, where their clients are telling them how they've completely transformed their lives, and they've never felt this confident, they've never felt this peaceful, they've never felt this like clear about who they want to be. It's so cool for us to get to receive that. And we're like, whoa, we've lit these women up to go out in the world and to have these ripple effects of transformation. And now we can sit back and see what they're causing, the results that they're producing out there in the world. How is that for you to get those screenshots and to hear from these women how many people's lives they're changing?
It's like a multitude of things. I'm so glad we're having this chat, because you're right. I don't think we've actually sat down and like presenced ourselves to that reality. And on one hand, there's this part of me that has a almost like a validation, and maybe that has a negative connotation, but there's this part of me that's like, I'm so happy that what we teach works. And I'm so happy that they've been able to go out and really be the change and fulfill on what their mission was, and fulfill on the investment they made in themselves and with the ERA. So on one hand, there's this like personal gratification of like, this is so fucking cool and I'm so grateful. And then the other part of me is like, I'm so happy that there's more women out there helping other people change their lives, that there's more women out there talking about diet culture, about the beauty myth, and helping more people find freedom, because I think that what the world really needs is more people in this transformed state of like freedom and being positive. So it's like a lot of different things, but it's really fulfilling and it's really cool. And like, I'm so happy for the women when they're like, I got my first paying client, or I got my fifth client, or I don't know, I have 7 or 8 clients. I can't keep track anymore. And like, I think that one of the things about being a coach is like, yes, you want to create income and you want to create this amazing lifestyle. And there's also this real, genuine desire to really help people. Like, you and I like genuinely care about our clients. Like, we actually really give a fuck, you know? And then the women that we've trained through the ERA really care about their clients as well. And it's like, I can't say that about too many other things that I've done in my life, where like I've cared this much, it's been this genuine, and it's also been so abundant in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm just now seeing that there's these like different stages of transformation. So first there's when you are the popcorn that pops. When like I myself went through my first transformation of awakening, of like really getting these transformational concepts that shifted my entire life and my perspective of my world. Yeah. So that's kind of stage 1. And then stage 2 is wanting to give it away. Stage 2 is I can't keep this to myself. I live a completely different life now than I did before I had my transformation, and I don't want to keep this a secret. I want to give it away to others. And at that point was when I think we both shifted into being coaches. And then we had several years of having the experience of getting to cause that transformation for others. And now we're at this third stage, which is way more fun and fulfilling than I ever thought that it could be, which is we are transforming other people to be able to transform other people's lives. And that I feel is the greatest gift that one can ever give to someone else. The experience that I have, and I'm pretty sure it's similar for you, the experience I have of getting to make a real, true, long-lasting, profound difference in someone's life and see their whole being shift before me, like the person they were when they got on a call with me versus the person they are at the end of the call, having that be 2 completely different people with 2 completely different futures that they're living into. That experience is the most fulfilling, wonderful, exquisite experience I think that I ever have. And then teaching other women how to go have that experience and be able to cause that for others ongoingly. It is just the coolest. It's the coolest thing. I'm so grateful that we get to host this academy together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to like further build on what you were just saying. It's like, yes, I absolutely love helping people. I love being able to make that difference for them. And I'm so happy for them and for their life. And I love getting to experience myself as somebody who helps cause the transformation. So there is so much, like, there's so much in it for me too, right? And we all know this. They always talk about, like, giving is the gift itself, right? Or like, going and volunteering your time feels so good for you. Or like, we all love helping other people. We get so much fulfillment out of that. And it is like, there's just a level of like meaning that is brought to my life, knowing that I can help people in this way, that in like my past careers, it just did not have the same meaning to it. And yeah, and I love getting to experience that.
And it really cements one's individual healing into place. For me, when I recovered from anorexia, from my eating disorder, it was not the most stable of recovery until I started giving my transformation away, giving my healing away. So until I started writing and speaking about the transformation that I had and seeing the shift that it caused for other people, then all of a sudden my healing was not just about me anymore. It wasn't about little old me over here. It was about others. And I now felt a duty to sustain my transformation and to deepen my healing because I saw the ripple effects that it created for others. And having a job as a coach is, I think, the absolute best way to ensure a life of nonstop growth, unbounded growth. And it's not only that every time I'm on a session with a client, I'm having breakthroughs for myself and my life and my relationship and my career. It's also that my love for humanity has deepened so incredibly much over the course of my career as a coach. Every person from my past that I ever judged, that I ever was jealous of, that I ever resented, has come to me as a client in another form. Not like that exact person, obviously, but like the representation of that person has come to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have the opportunity to sit here with you and dive into your brain and jump into your perspective of the world. And now I understand why you did that thing to me. Now I understand that my jealousy didn't really have the best context for it because I wasn't seeing the full picture of what this person is dealing with in their life. Like the amount of moments that I've been able to have to heal those past versions of Brandy, those past versions of myself through coaching somebody else and really getting their perspective. It's like such magic.
So that in order for you to always show up as somebody who's able to do that for somebody else, you have to constantly be working on yourself and constantly using the modalities that you teach, essentially walking the walk and talking the talk. It's one thing to tell other people that they have limiting beliefs that are holding them back in their life, and this is the what they're getting out of continuing to believe that disempowering belief, and then inviting them into having a shift in perspective, and then having them go take action in spite of that limiting belief. But it's like, you then also have to go and be continually doing that for yourself so that you can be in integrity, so that you can be in alignment, and so that you can practice what you preach, and you can like be the real deal of a coach. And so I think that choosing this career path of being an entrepreneur, of putting yourself out there, of showing up online, and of really giving a damn about other people's lives and what they and the outcomes that they get, like you said, the future they're living into, like you have to continually be looking at your own demons, at your own shadow, at your own darkness, at your own limiting beliefs, at your own fears, and work to overcome them. And so it's such a 2-for-1 of a career. Like you can't be an incredible coach with a business changing lives and be playing small in your own life. It just doesn't work.
It's inauthentic. And for that reason, coaching for people like us is the best job in the world. And it's for a very specific type of person. It's for somebody who is unwilling to compartmentalize. This is this concept of integration. There's no longer a Brandy that goes to work and then a Brandy that's in a relationship, and then a Brandy that's for her family, and then a Brandy at home by herself. There's just me everywhere. It's the same me that shows up to every different aspect of my life. And my career as a coach invites me into that level of integration. Like you said, we cannot be sitting here asking a client to identify their limiting belief and then take bold, powerful action anyways, whilst we are at the effect of our limiting beliefs. It doesn't work. It's inauthentic, and you can feel it. Being a coach is a spotlight on all of our shadow, and every single day it's an invitation for us to show up for ourselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm kind of feeling like, in addition to all of these things that we love and how it's kind of this 2-for-1 and like practice what we preach and how beautiful it is, how has it changed your lifestyle, like your day to day? Like, what's different about having this career that is different from your 9 to 5?
Mm-hmm.
And that is different from working for somebody else and having somebody else to report to, as opposed to getting to really report to like your soul?
Mm-hmm. It has completely transformed how I relate to myself. Who I am used to be a function of the things that I had in my life, a function of the money that I had, a function of the validation that I was getting, a function of how good of grades I was getting when I was in school, or like my identity used to be all of these things. And now how I identify is with the transformation that I cause. Like my deepest identity, the way that I relate to myself, is the difference that I make for others. So I'm constantly discovering who I am. There's not this fixed idea of who Brandy is. I'm discovering it in the shift that you are having in your life as a result of being with me and speaking with me. And in this way, it's like I get to discover myself every single day. It's never boring. And it's always an opportunity for expansion. Before I became a coach, I was working at a Fortune 500 company that paid really well, and I could totally get away with being out of alignment, and nobody would know. Nobody would say anything. I'd still make just as much money. I'd still get the validation. With this, it's like we said before, it's so glaringly obvious when I'm out of alignment, and I don't have a tolerance for it anymore. I have this like loving discipline to being in my highest alignment. And because I hold myself to that level of accountability, which I think is a prerequisite for being a responsible coach, that shows up everywhere in my life. Right? I hold myself to that standard in my relationships with my family, in my romantic relationships, in all of my communications, and how I am for my friends. And yeah. What about you? How has it transformed you in your life?
Well, I think on a more practical day-to-day level. So I feel like what you had just shared was very beautiful and like esoteric and I super relate to it. Yeah. And I think on like a more practical day-to-day here, like 3D type of a way, it's like, it's not that that's not that I don't experience stress or fear or doubt. I do experience those things. Yeah. And I'm equipped to work through them now because of all of the work that I've done and all the investments I've made in my growth. But the stress that I used to have working for somebody else, working at a mid-sized law firm here in LA, this corporate environment, the stress that I felt was like bad stress in a way. And I was just unfulfilled. Like I felt like even though the job was challenging and I was growing and I was making a lot of money, I just had this feeling inside of me of like, what are you doing? Like, what does the rest of your life look like if you keep working here and if you keep just climbing this corporate ladder that you're on? And you're working for people who fight for a living. Like, is this actually really what you want to be doing with your time? Like, yeah, the money's great. And there's this like outer form of like achievement that like looks good on paper and to the outside world. And like when I really tap into like who I am and what I want and like the vision that I have for myself, it just felt so forceful and constrictive. and like a rat race, just like getting up every single day and going to this job and being there for 8, 9 hours, whatever it was, and then coming home, rinse and repeat. Like it just felt like Groundhog's Day, and it just felt so unfulfilling. And now that my time is my own
Yeah.
in a way that it never really was before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
I would be so fascinated to see you and I, while you were working at your law firm and I was working at this Fortune 500 financial lending company, have met during that time and hung out, and how different of human beings we would have been. I mean, what would we even really have to talk about besides complaining? When we're actively not listening to our heart, like when we hear it and we're like, shut up, it's inconvenient for me to listen to you, heart, so I'm going to do everything that I can to avoid you. We have to make ourselves so small. We have to shrivel up, because our natural tendency is to expand. And when we expand, we have to make sometimes really challenging choices, like leaving safe opportunities. I just can't imagine what we would have even talked about or how those conversations would have gone. And it's kind of scary to think that it was very possible for both of us to not have listened to that calling and to just continued to justify working these jobs and living these lives that were entirely unfulfilling, and continuing to turn to coping mechanisms to numb out until that connection with our heart is just like severed, until we've created so much noise in our lives that the heart can't even be heard anymore. Like that was a possibility that could have happened. And I'm so grateful that it didn't. I'm so grateful that we're sitting here having this conversation about how much we love our jobs and we love going to work, and we couldn't imagine ourselves doing anything else.
Yeah, I know. Like what a gift to have listened and to trusted that feeling, that like inner knowing, that desire
Yeah.
of
Isn't
just
that
wanting
amazing?
it.
Gosh, do you ever just stop and think about like, whoa, how far we've come? That
Yeah.
we love what we do and we're successful at it, and it's the most fulfilling thing that we can think of, and it's connected us to this incredibly vibrant community and brought us such financial abundance and given us so much freedom to be able to go to Peru together and take coaching calls from Peru while we're traveling the world and having these experiences that we want to have. Like we created that because we said yes to ourselves. And it's so
Mm.
easy to just have this be our new normal and forget about that. But it also would have been really easy for us right now to still be working those jobs that
Mhm.
we were in, and we're crushing our souls.
Mhm. Mhm. And this isn't to say that's the case for everybody, just like a little asterisk here. There's lots of people who have their 9 to 5s and they love them and that's what they want for themselves, and that's cool. And for those of you who are listening and that's not you, that's who we're talking to here. We're not here to make anybody feel ashamed if they have a 9 to 5. But yeah, when you had said something in there that really stuck out to me, and you were talking about the community
Mm-hmm.
and the friends that we have. And I don't think I actually really made that connection until you just said that. When I think about what my life was like before I became a coach and before I invested in group programs and met like-minded individuals and met other women who are committed to this healing journey and to this transformation path and committed to making the world a better place, like I I had amazing friends and they're still in my life and I love them, and there is something so special about this community. And a lot of us know a lot of us, and a lot of us are connected, and it's like this awesome sisterhood. And I imagine that it's probably similar to like what people get out of like going to church. Like I think a lot of people love the community. Like if you aren't a churchgoer or you are a churchgoer, like it's the community and the other people. And I feel like I get so much fulfillment out of the relationships that I have with other people who are on this path and who are committed uh, to what we're up to in the world. And it's so special. It's so special. And getting to go to Peru together with the group of ladies and just like always supporting each other and texting each other. And um yeah, it's such a huge benefit of being a coach that I didn't really think about
Mm-hmm.
until now.
Oh yeah, I have called in my community through choosing this. I wouldn't know so many of the people that I love most in the world had I not chosen this path for myself. Yeah. It used to feel to me like sharing about how great it is to be a coach was like sharing about that amazing hole in the wall restaurant that you don't really want anybody else to know about because you want it to be like as cute and quaint as it is. That's how it used to feel. And now I have such a different energy around it, specifically because I look at the world and I see how much we need specifically food and body image coaches. We need people to coach people on a lot of stuff, but specifically food and body image. Like, it is such an epidemic. It is such an oppressive issue in our country and in our world that I'm done keeping the hole in the wall restaurant, my favorite restaurant, a secret, metaphorically, and ready to shout it from the mountaintops how incredible this career is. And that's why we're having this conversation today, because you and I have had many conversations about, we can't do this alone. We cannot do this alone. If we did nothing but coach, we didn't even sleep and just coached 24/7, we couldn't even make a dent on the epidemic of food and body image issues that people in our country are experiencing right now. And so we have to open this up. We have to make it more accessible for people to, the right people, the right people with the right commitments and the right intentions and the right willingness to be able to join and be equipped with the ability to teach these concepts and give these tools away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that analogy, by the way, of like your favorite hole in the wall restaurant. And now you're like, I want this to be in every movie theater across the entire world, just like shouting from the rooftops. Yeah, I agree. I just think we need more people who are coaching this. And I think it's easy to think that the coaching industry is saturated or overcrowded, but it's actually really not when you think about the percentage of people who are really doing life-changing work and really helping people to the amount of people that need that life-changing work in their lives. There is so much room for you to take this on if you're feeling called to it. Obviously, for those listening, we're speaking about the Embodied Rebel Academy. For those of you that want to be food and body image coaches and want help. And I think something that made a big difference for me was investing in the help of other people. So it's like taking directions from somebody who is where you want to be, or who has gone where you want to go, makes a lot of sense. And so investing in somebody who has started a successful business, who knows how to facilitate this type of transformation, is the quickest way for you to then get to that place, as opposed to doing it on your own. So I think investing in help is a reflection of your commitment to making this a reality. Like, if this is the career that you want for yourself, you're putting your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Had I not invested in coaches right out the gate, starting my coaching business, like coaches who were coaching me on my coaching business, had I not invested in that, I don't know how many years it would have taken me to do the things that I've already done.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that I would have gotten to them eventually, but I know for damn sure it wouldn't have been as fast or as accelerated as a path as I had. I mean, in the first 3 years of my coaching business, I released a book, published countless articles, started a group program, hosted dozens of retreats, did a big live event for 150 women. Like, those things were direct products of me being coached by somebody and having somebody ask me to step into my power and hold me accountable for it.
Yeah. 100%. There's just no, it's just essentially like investing in a shortcut, and it's like investing in a flashlight instead of walking in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just like having somebody there to guide your path, and to help support you in making the right decisions, investing your time appropriately. And like you said, holding yourself accountable and holding the like highest vision for your bigness, and supporting you in stepping into the bigness that you are and that you can be. And holding you accountable, like when you're playing small. I mean, like, hey, like, you're playing really small right now. Is this who you're committed to being? So having that support, that flashlight, again, to help guide your path. Same thing. There's just no way I would have done what I've done in 2.5 years, had I not invested in help and coaches basically from the beginning. I didn't even come, and my entrance into the coaching industry wasn't, oh, I want to be a coach. It was hiring a coach because I was in a bad place in my life. And then it was through that experience of having been coached that I was like, oh, fuck, I want to do this too for other people. So it was from day one. I've been investing in this business, and it makes sense. Like anytime you want to start a business, you have to make investments. So it's like coaching is no different.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I didn't have that I wish that I had, that I'm so glad that the Women in Body Rebel Academy have, is that community of peers that are launching their businesses together. So I had coaches supporting me. I did all sorts of training programs, business accelerator programs. But what I didn't have was other women in my niche that were also doing the really scary thing of leaving the stable job behind and launching themselves into the unknown, standing for what they believe in, basically out there naked for the world to see, this is who I am. I didn't have that kind of support. And it's been so wonderful to see the women going through this last round of Embodied Rebel Academy and the bonds that they formed with each other. And now some of them are already creating group programs together. Like they have those friendships for life, and they get to watch and support each other grow. And I think that peer relationship of having other like-minded people who are going through a similar process to you is so invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't want to say that like one-on-one is less valuable than groups, because I think they each have their own benefit, but that's also why the ERA is awesome, because you get the group benefit with a lot of one-on-one time with you and I. But I think the sisterhood and the support and you having other people to lean on who are right there with you, is integral to your growth. I think it makes such a big difference. And I do think that group programs are really, really special in that way, because the energy of the group, it's like all boats rise to the top. And so when you have the whole, a rising tide raises all ships, as they say. And when you are in that, ocean with all of these other people, and you're always pulling each other up and pulling each other forward and partnering and bouncing ideas and say like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, like that. It's just so necessary so that you don't have to, because like being an online coach can be isolating, because it's like you alone in your living room or whatever, so having the community makes a huge difference.
Yeah. We are very, very, very proud of this program. It's everything that we both wished that we wanted when we started our careers as coaches. We had to go to so many different sources and find all these different sources to equip ourselves with all of the different tools and resources and community and mentorship that we needed. And the reason we created Embodied Rebel Academy is because we want to make it so much simpler, so that the future generations of coaches, I'm saying this like I'm an old person, the future generations of coaches have it so much simpler while maintaining that level of integrity. You and I both do not want a single coach out there that doesn't actually have the capacity to cause a real profound difference for their clients. And I feel so proud of this program that we've put together that actually does produce coaches that are ready to make that kind of difference that you and I make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just not only like the education that we provide on diet culture and the modalities that we teach people, the coaching modalities, like how do you actually have somebody have a transformation? And then also like, how do you get the business off the ground? Like those could in and of themselves be 3 separate programs. And yet we've sort of combined them into this one. So yeah, it is everything that I feel like it's everything that you would need to like get off the ground, get a coaching business off the ground, and then also be able to actually be a coach with integrity, a quality coach. Because again, like I was alluding to earlier, there's a lot of people in the coaching industry who like are not actually cut out to be coaches and who are not actually really equipped to help somebody else through a transformation. And I know that not only with our interview process do we help distinguish that and only really invite women into the academy who we really think this is a fit for, but then through the training that they get, like we know they walk away being equipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the clients of our participants that are thriving and living transformed lives.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, coaching's awesome. We think it's great. We really love it. We want you to come hang out with us on this beautiful island called Transformational Coaching and being a business owner and online entrepreneur. And we'd love to have you in the ERA if you want to do this work, if you're feeling called, if you're excited about it, if you have all of this energy inside of your body and this inspiration. Like, if you know, you know. And if you're on the fence, let's hop on a call and we'll figure out which side of the fence you want to be on, you know.
Yeah, if there's the tiniest little voice inside of you that's like, maybe I'd be good at that. Maybe that's a career path I want to pursue. Maybe that's for me. Hop on an Awaken Your Vision call with us. They're badass calls. We have so much fun on these calls. The calls in and of themselves cause a transformation and give people so much clarity. So let us know if you're interested, apply, and we'll hop on a call.
Yep. Yay. Go coaching.